Welcome to Pugs and Parker proudly present Pillow Talk on the Radio Misfits podcast platform. We do this show every Monday through Thursday evening. I had to think about that. I had to think about what is today. We're doing It's Thursday. It's the last show of the week. 9 p.m. Central Time. Me and Parker get together. Sometimes people join us, sometimes not. More conversation. Hi, Brady. More conversational than the first stream that I do. This is two. I do two streams every day. The first stream comes on at noon Central Standard Time. That's high noon. That's called high noon. That's what it's called. And that's more topic driven. That's all about anything that's trending, headlines, current events, pop culture, hot topics, anything that people are buzzing about, talking about, anything that's happening in the world. We cover that for you. It's kind of a cheat sheet for you so that you know absolutely everything that people are talking about. We don't spend all that much time on any one issue. I just pull this out. I'll go like, all right, Elon Musk. Here's why Elon Musk is trending. Here's what I think about it. Next, NFL draft. And we just go through all of the stuff that, honestly, if you're not listening to it, it's your loss, because here we are every single day, Monday through Friday at noon, trying to make sure that you're not walking around bumping into things, people going, hey, did you hear about? And you going, no, didn't hear about it. Trying to create a situation where you can just turn to them and go, yeah, I heard about it. So Magnat. Whoa, what was that? I'm a little running behind. Was Byron here? It's Byron's birthday. There's Byron. Byron's all up in my business. Like the show shouldn't start for another 2 minutes. I was running so behind tonight, but I'm like, I don't need to hear Byron's nonsense about how I'm coming in late. Because sometimes they'll show up 2-3 minutes late, and Byron's like, what the hell? So I'm a little out of breath. I'm a little bit cold. I'm a little bit, here's what I'm doing tonight. So those of you who listen to the streams, you know the backstory. I live here rent-free. I do my show. I built a studio. I've got a room. I until just about 10 months ago. No, actually, it's coming up on a full year. I had moved back to Chicago after spending about 13 years here in Dallas. And I lived in Chicago, but my son was here, so I moved back here. My buddy Emil basically just gave me his cool-ass guest house here in his beautiful property in what is known as sunny and beautiful downtown Highland Park, Texas. And so I run my base of operations here from the guest house, the Comfort Nest Lounge, as we like to call it for the purposes of these streams. And tonight, the big masters of the main house, they're out having what? Are they out having a wang dang dilly of an evening? They're at the Bon Jovi concert, don't you know? So Mr. and Mrs. Amel, they're over there at the Bon Jovi concert. So that means Uncle Guest House Pugs, the old Cato Kalin of Highland Park, that means I'm on babysitting duty. So that's why I was late. I was over at the big house. I was watching the NFL draft with the boy. And the boy is he's fine. He's just a couple of yards away in the big house. So I'm over here doing this show. He knows where I am. He's got the crazy dog with him. So yeah, you want to go try and kidnap? Fine. That's fine. Go at your own risk. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay, because that dog will rip your jugular out. That dog. All you got to do is ask my partner in crime here, James Parker, about that dog. That dog he's met the dog twice. That dog has bit him twice. What?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, dude. I don't know. Let me mess with some settings over here, see if I can figure it out.
All right. Yeah, Jeff, I'm doing. Thank you, Jeff. Hey, by the way, this show runs on your tips and your contributions. We're kind of like PBS, except we don't give out tote bags. Jeff made a donation this evening. Thank you so much. We're getting closer. We're not there yet. End of the month is here. Tip me like a bartender. You want to throw a couple of shekels into my tip jar, please? You can do it at any of those. Oh, I don't have them. I don't have the graphics up. Let me see here. There you go. Bazinga. There you go. You can tip the show. You can take care of us any way, shape, or form. We don't have any advertisers. I like how I say that. I say that like, we don't have any advertisers. Like it's a choice. It's not really a choice. We haven't really pursued any advertisers. But I would really rather do it this way. And so far, so good. So far, the listeners of these couple of streams that we do each and every day have made it possible for us to continue. James, is this just how it's going to be tonight? What do you think?
I think I can keep messing with stuff and eventually get it to work, but it ain't working right now.
you're like from 2001. You're like Hell 9000. Because although we can't see you, we do see a picture of you. We see your Nicaraguan coke smuggler look picture, and then when you speak, it pulsates like Hell from was it Hell 9000? Hell 2000?
Yeah. Open the pod bay doors, Hal. I
Yeah,
can't do that, Dave.
yeah, that's what it's like. I kind of like it.
I'm afraid I can't do that, Dave.
Would you like me to try and send you another link?
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do that. Okay.
Because our guest isn't showing up in here either.
Oh no, our guest is here, but I like to wait for you to introduce it's your friend, and well, it's all our friend now, but your special guest. Hold on, let me send you another link and then try and reconnect. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, there he goes. All right, so I don't know how we do that. He's got to disconnect. Let me try this again. All right. Alrighty. There we go. Here we go. Bear with us, folks. It's a technical workshop. Nope, that's not how we do it. So, nope. Hold on. Bear with me. Oh, do we have a show for you tonight? Yeah, not really. I mean, I do have some things that are like on my mind that I really want to get into, but it would be much better if we had to James. Okay, James, did we just send it to James? Do we send the second one to James? Let's see here. Yeah. All right, let's see if we can get James back up. All right. So I'm babysitting. We've already had one incident. Dog related, of course. Those of you who followed the 2 streams that I do here, you know that the dog is a piece of garbage. Dog got up on I made some pork chops. I made some nice pork chop dinner, and I made the mistake of leaving a dirty pork chop bowl on the counter. And so the dog, which is she's a monster. I mean, I love her. Don't get me wrong. I love her, but she's aggressive. She's mean. She's big. She's scary. And she has no limits. She jumped up on the counter and she shattered all of these glasses and they went all over the kitchen. So I had to text the people there's James. I had to text the people of the house and explain to them that I'm sorry, all your dishes are broken. James?
Yeah, dude, I hear you fine. Now I don't even see my damn dismembered head. Oh, there it is. Well, crap.
This is no fun.
Sucks.
Well, should we go ahead and bring in our special guest anyway?
Hang on, man. Let me.
All right, hold on.
Keep trying to work on this dumb thing.
All right. So the dog shatters dishes all over the kitchen. I had to send the picture to. By the way, they sent me a picture of them at the Bon Jovi concert. They're like in the front row. Of course.
Of course.
I remember when they were at the Rolling Stones concert and they were just like 5 rows off they were like right there. I'm telling you, man, he's my best friend and I'm happy about that, but he is a connected dude. That dude, that guy gets the best seats for everything. He always has, right, James? I mean, going back as long as you've known him, he's always been sort of like the guy. He's the guy. He gets.
It's puzzling too because he doesn't seem to be like abnormal. Then like there doesn't seem to be anything spectacular about him other than he can just constantly fall forward, just everywhere he goes. He just can't stop winning.
You know what he is? Yeah, well, I say that too. I say that on the rainiest day he farts rainbows. It's he's and he'll never hear this, so I'm comfortable saying that he's a pretty cool guy. Like he gets along.
Oh, definitely.
Like everybody likes him, and he's just like he's friendly and he knows everybody. He's the guy that if you walk into a restaurant with him and they're showing you to your table, you'll have to sit down at the table and order your drinks, and your drinks will show up before he gets to the table because he's saying hello to everybody that he knows that's in the restaurant. You know what I mean? That he should run for something, but he's an artist and he's got all them skeletons in the closet that you and I know about. So he probably could never be an artist.
He's
partied a little too hard. He was too much of a party boy back in the day. I think that might.
Politics would be a stretch for that dude.
All right, what do you think? Should we move forward? I mean, this is fine. I don't mind you like this. I don't want to keep our special guest waiting.
Well, come on, special guest. And it's just a regular guest. She's not that special.
Well, okay, give us the introduction, James.
Oh, this is Rebecca Pratt. Welcome back to the show for a second appearance. And Rebecca's knee is joining us for today's show. Hello, Rebecca's knee.
in a row. Rebecca, welcome back to the show. How are you?
Hey, how's it going? Nice picture, Parker.
I know, doesn't that look creepy as hell?
So let's get right into the monologue because, like I said, I'm babysitting, so I can't go much longer than 10 o'clock tonight. So typically,
Oh my goodness!
James-
How am I supposed to do a monologue when if I'm not even on the screen?
well, that's what I'm saying. Like, do you still want to do the bit
This
where
is gonna be stupid.
where I make you big? There you are.
Yeah.
It'll work.
Yeah, it's backfiring today, isn't it?
There you
My
go.
little diva crap doesn't work so well.
James demands the center stage. All right, let's
I'll
get into
take
the
it.
monologue. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the Comfort Nest Comedy Lounge stage for a Thursday night special impromptu performance of the day's news in monologue form. He's thrilled royalty across Europe. He's entertained on countless cruise lines. Please welcome to the stage, James McDaniel Parker.
Thank you. I was hoping for a little more applause, but I guess that'll have to do. There you go.
It's a building.
Yeah, I don't even need a face. So hey, Pugs, you see this? According to a new poll, our country is more divided than ever.
Hold
to
on.
give you
Way hot. Hold on. I got you way hot right now. That drives Ed nuts. All right, continue.
According to a new poll, our country is more divided than ever. To give you an idea of how bad it is, even my sunglasses are polarized.
Oh, look at that.
Since last year, the average audience for The View has grown by 13%, and over the same time span, Whoopi Goldberg has grown by 20%.
Oh,
So that's even
really twice in a row?
It's a Cena Sanders. It's a fat joke, not a dead joke.
Oh, sorry. Oh, that was the Cena. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so you're supposed to do it's a fat joke. In Ohio, a 33-year-old female teacher was sentenced for doing sex with an underage male student. In his victim impact statement, the boy faced his abuser and sang the song "The Time of My Life." You remember that's from Dirty Dancing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the joke?
Oh, that was the joke. Yeah. At the victim impact statement, he's singing the Dirty Dancing soundtrack. I thought that was, I don't know, an attempt at being funny. Be winners, y'all. All right. A 13-year-old Minnesota boy is set to graduate with a bachelor's degree from the University of Minnesota next month. And I feel like a loser because when I was that age, I was still trying to get the hang of Mario Kart. That suck. I got it. In Fargo, North Dakota, an air ambulance made an emergency landing after a bird strike. The birds are demanding more money and better working conditions. Yeah. See what I did there? Bird strike. Today is Take Our Daughters and Sons to Work Day here in America. In China, it's called Take Mom and Dad to Work Day because they do child labor. Pretty despicable stuff. Should I continue or just... Happy birthday to Jay Leno. Today he turns 72 years old, and it looks like he's finally growing into that chin. I don't have a face. I can't tell a joke. Happy birthday to foreigner keyboardist Michael Bluestein. I don't want to say he's getting old, but he and the band have a new song called Cold as Icy Hot.
I'll tell you what's going on here. If you're just going to phone in the monologue script by putting whatever in front of everything, then I'm just going to play the same one every time.
I hear you. I was a little lazy with that. Point taken. Happy birthday to Willie Nelson. His birthday's tomorrow, but I just wanted to celebrate the old man. If you want to send him a gift, I hear he likes weed. And finally,
yeah, we're at the
finally,
end.
God, finally.
Good.
Happy birthday. Tomorrow is the birthday for Master P. And I don't want to say he's getting old, but he's now known as Master AARP. Oh, stop it. Stepping on the jokes. Master AARP. It's not going to be much better if you waited. It's still bad.
I did that on purpose.
I see.
All right, there you go. We got Walker, the monologue, the most half-assed version of the monologue ever. Literally every cue instruction said whatever. So,
Well, no, there was the Cena one, but you missed that. And CSI was on the beginning, and
that's right, I did.
It's a fat joke. It's a fat joke.
All right, let's get back into it. Jeff Ballard in the chat room says, how much growth is hate watching, though? How much growth is hate watching? I don't know. What's going on in the chat room? Somebody fighting? He does the Bob. It's the very same monologue. Not only does he not write it, but it's recycled. You're taking abuse in the chat room, James.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I'm totally okay with that.
Somebody grab a Sharpie and put a face on Rebecca's knee. Yeah, there you go.
That's Rebecca, does your knee need to be in the frame?
Mm-hmm.
You want me to take it out?
Well, and also you're far away from your microphone and you're backlit. You're a mess.
I'll leave her alone. She's fine. I do think that maybe a knee puppet might be something fun. We can do that. A knee puppet. Just draw
a knee puppet.
Why not?
I don't know. Do you got like a little John Madden chalkboard you can draw on her knee?
All right, what's happening, guys? What's that? James, you got anything you want to start with, or should I just jump in?
I want you to jump in because I'm tired of taking kicks to the teeth.
Right. Rebecca, I'm so sorry. I should have given you the floor. Is there anything that you would like to get off your chest on this fine Thursday evening?
No, it's just a busy night. The NFL draft is going on, and the Phoenix Suns just knocked the New Orleans Pelicans out of the playoffs, and I live in New Orleans, and
Well,
kind of stink. Chris Paul shot 14 for 14 tonight.
No way.
He took 14 shots and he didn't miss one.
The
team that he used to play for here in New Orleans, he just wiped them out with those numbers.
And the Pelicans have been nothing since he left. Nothing.
My team got dumped out just a couple of days ago, so I'm done with basketball talk. Don't care. I do care about the NFL draft, though. I was over there in the big house, over in the master's house, watching the NFL draft on that. Well, James, you've seen it, that garage door size television that he has in the living room.
It's the same size screen that I watched ET on when I was 7.
I swear it is. The people, Mel Kiper's nostrils are so big on that TV. I want to put on a miner's hat and just go climbing around up in there. It is insane. But either of you guys watching the draft to this point?
I haven't watched any of it because I was helping my parents move. So my life has sucked today. Just totally sucked. I just worked all day. Then I moved for 3 hours. Then I came back here and now my camera doesn't work and the monologue sucks. And Rebecca's backlit.
I'm keeping an eye on it, although I have a lazy eye.
So I had a bit of an incident where I felt bad about myself because, James, I like to think of myself as a morally superior individual, a good, kind-hearted dude.
We all do. We all think we're above average.
No. You're a broken human being. You're cruel and mean. I mean, I love you. Don't get me wrong. You're my brother, but
But I'm still above average.
You're broken and I'm decent. That's kind of the dynamic we're going for here.
Okay.
I had a moment where I felt bad because the New York Giants, Rebecca, I don't know if you saw this. The New York Giants had the 4th pick overall, and they came out and they brought out somebody to do the pick. And I've been looking for this video everywhere. I wanted to show the video, but I can't find it. So they bring out this dude, this young dude, looks to be like maybe, I don't know, 19 or whatever. But they're like, okay, New York Giants are on the clock, and this kid comes out. I guess we'll call him a kid because I'm an old man. And this kid is like doing the whole, he's like going nuts. And I'm like looking at him and I'm going, oh God, look at this coked up New Yorker. It was like he seemed like he was coked out of his mind, like he was so hyped to be out there. And then, people who know me know this. I hate New Yorkers. I think that people from New York City are just some of the most reprehensible individuals on the planet. There's just, first of all, New Yorkers are the only people that you'll run into who will greet you with, but I'm from New York. So, I mean, they always let you know they're from New York before anything. I just find them so ridiculous. Now,
Texans kind of do that too. I'm from Texas.
It's charming. Texans are charming when they do it. And New Yorkers are they're so arrogant about it.
Yeah, but how much is this built-in base rivalry between Chicago and New York?
Yeah, about 80%. Yeah, I mean, it's fair that you point that out because we are the second city. So there is definitely kind of that. But so this dude comes out and he's like, bah, 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 and he's got kind of a Guido look, you know. He looks like, I'm Anthony from Long Island, you know. And he's doing this whole thing, and Roger Goodell is like, and now introducing the pick for the New York Giants. Make a wish, kid. And I'm like,
Oh man.
He was a make a wish kid. But here's where it got weird. He was a make a wish kid who just survived a heart transplant. And I thought he was coked up. I mean, he was like, he's pumping, he's going nuts. And even Roger Goodell, and I was looking for this. If anybody finds this video, it's got to be going around somewhere by this point. Even Roger Goodell is like, okay, all right, you okay? Because like I thought this kid's new heart was going to explode right up. He was so excited to be up there making the pick for the New York Giants. And then when they took, who did they take? I don't know, whoever they took this player, and the player comes out on stage, and this kid is the player that they just drafted couldn't possibly know that this kid just had a heart transplant, right? So the dude, big giant dude, I don't know if he was like an edge rusher or a wide receiver or whatever, but he comes out and this kid runs up to him. He's like, bah, bah. And so the player is then giving it back to him like, bah, bah. And then they like chest bump each other right there on the stage. And I'm like, oh, we're going to see a Make-A-Wish death right here on the stage. And then the player picks him up and grabs him and bear hugs. It was a truly terrifying moment for about, I don't know, 15 seconds there on stage. One, I felt bad that I was just angry at this. You know, I had framed him as a coked up Guido who I didn't want to hear from. Then I learned that he's a Make-A-Wish kid, so I feel like a shitheel. Then I see this kid. I learned, Goodell tells me, open heart transplant. Like he's got a new heart. He's like a kid with a brand new heart. And he is going full throttle. So at that point, I'm like on the edge of my seat. I'm like, somebody, is there a nurse nearby? I mean, did they tell this kid to keep his adrenaline down? Because this can't be good for, you know, a dude with a new heart. But so that was my draft experience. That I was worried about that.
Pugs, you'd be excited if you just got a new heart too. And I think about all the coke you can do now with a new heart.
Yeah, I mean, let's take it out around the block a couple of times before we get a little nutso. I mean, he was going crazy. You know, let me quickly just search the New York Giants hashtag.
They took Thibodeau, the defensive end from Oregon.
That's who it was. Yeah. I knew it. They took a big giant edge rusher, and he's like chest bumping with this kid. And I'm like, oh man, that can't be good. So that was my draft moment. That's all. Who's got something else? Anybody else? Draft moments?
I just want to know who the Cowboys get.
Well, and it's just wild that when we woke up today, before we go to bed, there's going to be 30 brand new millionaires in the United States of America because of the NFL draft.
Well, yeah, there's going to be a lot more than that come Sunday afternoon because is this the kid? Is this the Make-A-Wish kid? Okay. So okay, this is not the actual. All right, I'll show you the kid. This is not his video, but this is him in the Giants offices being told that he's going to be the dude. This is the kid. And you can see I feel like an asshole for thinking he was just some coked up Guido, but he was wearing like a mafia suit, you know. He was like, you know, he didn't know. I'm just some asshole judging this poor kid who's
all right. So since I've been disconnected for the last 3 hours or so, I saw the rumor before I left the office today that Colin Kaepernick is being welcomed to the Raiders with open arms.
No. Well, yeah, I don't know that that's been official yet, but yeah, the Raiders have come out and said that they have no problem with it. We may be getting a tryout is basically what's happening there.
No, man, somebody needs to sign him and start him. Just sign him and start him.
Well, they got David Carr, so they seem.
Well, yeah, they don't need to sign him and start him, but probably like the Browns or something.
Browns have Deshaun Watson. What are you talking about?
Well, yeah, but he's
Browns just. Oh yeah, dude, you're right because Deshaun Watson's going to miss a whole bunch of games. All right, here you go. This is from Giants Twitter. This is Sam, the kid I was just ripping on. See him?
For me, like going like first draft pick. You know,
don't mess it up.
I agree. Well, hey,
this kid's got a brand new
part
heart.
of not messing it up, and I've been thinking about this. Is I need somebody that knows what the heck they're doing, that I can rely.
Look at Eli back here. Look at a couple of New Orleans boys. Look at Eli. Eli back here. Doesn't he look like he was just superimposed? Like he's not like he's green screened in. He doesn't look like he's.
on to go to Las Vegas and make this pick for me.
What do you think about that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, do you see how kind of ramped up this kid with the new heart is? I'm a little concerned for him.
Yes, sir. You good about that?
Awesome.
Yeah. All right, buddy. You good?
One more thing for you, buddy.
Oh man.
You excited? Something you'd be willing to do for us?
Yes.
Let's go. Let's go. Advice for me.
See, all right. Can I be the bad guy? Because I know this is my job, and I'm happy to do it.
All right, well, first of all, let me just say that is beautiful. But go ahead, now be the best.
And I'm happy for him, and I'm glad he's happy. And it's not like I want little cancer kids to suffer or whatever. But you know, how excited can you be? That dude is probably not going to be on the team in 3 years. Right. And again, not to be, you know, the super villain in the room, but I thought you weren't supposed to get like a Make-A-Wish unless you were terminal. Like if you get a Make-A-Wish, like a miracle granted, and you live through it, like I'm not saying you should have to like pay the money back or something, but shouldn't we be reserving these scarce resources for terminal kids?
Well, getting a brand new heart is kind of a miracle, isn't it?
I mean, it kind of is, but it looks like his immune system's not rejecting it. So if he's going to be fine, then I mean, I don't know. Isn't there sicker kids we need to be dealing with? Someone who's at least bald or something.
That kid looks like he's got superpowers now. That kid's like super revved up.
Yeah, you can't even tell by looking at him that he's messed up.
No, here's what you can tell. You can tell that he has. I thought he was on coke because of the way he was like he came out on stage. He was wearing this suit. He's wearing this mafia looking suit, and you know, it's like,
no, and you made those mafia noises like bah. You did that perfect. They do that.
And you know, you are absolutely right, James. Absolutely right. Until you just mentioned it, I had never even considered that. What exactly are the rules for Make-A-Wish? I thought it was a terminal thing. I thought this was like the last great experience of some tragically cut short life. This kid could live to be 80 years old. This kid's got
exactly. And that shouldn't bother me because I shouldn't care, but it does bother me because I kind of do, and I feel wrong about it, but I'm not going to deny it. Like, isn't there someone sicker out there that could have called that first draft pick or something? Like someone you had to pull up in a wheelchair, someone on like those sticks, like Timmy from South Park, or
someone
Jimmy.
Sadder. Are you looking for someone sadder?
Well, I heard that about people with brand new hearts. One of the side effects is it makes you look like you're all coked out because it's a brand new heart. I mean, imagine. I mean, you get something new in you.
No, he's just saying it hadn't worn out yet. It's brand new, so it's pumping. You know,
I don't know anything about a new heart, but guess what, guys? I found the video. I found the video of him being on stage. So now you're going to get to see.
Oh, good.
What made me feel terrible. All right, so here's the video of that same kid, and he's awesome. You know, let's not be a dick about it. But yeah, okay, so here he is. So this is him like chest bumping and getting really hyper with the new draft pick, who probably isn't aware that he's got, I guess he's not delicate. I don't know. His heart was going to explode. Look at him. And that level of enthusiasm that we're seeing here, when he first walked out on stage, he had that level of enthusiasm. He was just like, we walked out behind Goodell, and Goodell walks up all calm because he's done it a billion times. And this kid is behind him doing basically that. Like, it's like, what the hell is this Guido doing up there?
That video should go around with a question, and it should say, new heart or coked out?
It's true. I thought he was coked out, and then I found out it was a new heart. So good for him. Look, hey. No, wrong one.
Wrong one.
Good for you. Good for you, kid. I'm glad. You know what? Have yourself a night. First, I thought you seemed a little bit amped up. Then I learned that maybe you shouldn't be that amped up, and then I was concerned. And here we are. I have nothing.
Well, look, Jeff's pointing out something interesting. He said you wouldn't believe the amount of Make-A-Wish fakers out there.
Is that a real thing?
I bet it is. There's someone, dude. There's those people that pretend to have cancer and they raise a bunch of money on GoFundMe or whatever. And
Right, but I have to believe there are some checks and balances with the Make-A-Wish corporate office where they actually talk to doctors and stuff. I mean, I gotta believe that if you're gonna get into the actual Make-A-Wish fast lane, they've done some due diligence.
If you lie to make a wish, you're ending up right next to Hitler.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be right next to Hitler for eternity.
Now, that's not to say that, maybe a local high school or a local community can't be duped, but by somebody faking it. But I think that there are checks and balances with Make-A-Wish. I think they know. Don't they always, they bring their doctor sometimes, right? Isn't that
yeah, I'm sure they look the kid over and maybe run a background check or something.
the kid over?
Mm-hmm.
You're too healthy to be happy. Next.
Right.
The next one.
Yeah, take off your shirt. Let me see your scar. Let me see the heart surgery scar. Them rib spreaders leave a mark.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I love that kid now. I love that kid now. I feel like I judged him unfairly, and I'm glad that he had his experience. But James Parker does bring up a brilliant point. I thought Make-A-Wish was like a last wish. I thought it was for. I won't go so far as to say, as James did, that I'm looking for someone who's at least bald. Thought that was a little callous, but the point is taken. Point is taken.
And it's very rare that you would say, I want to switch places with a Make-A-Wish kid. But that kid's get the whole weekend in Vegas. And he's got a new home.
Damn, that makes it so much worse. Jesus.
I mean,
You're right.
Who wouldn't want to switch places with that Make-A-Wish kid?
That's true.
That's kind of the deal breaker. Now that you mentioned it, it shouldn't be someone I would switch places with. Do I get a wish too? My life's worse than his.
He's healthy. He's probably got another, 50, 60 years tacked on to what was supposed to be just like maybe a 22-year-old lifespan. He's in Vegas. He's hanging out with a first round or draft pick. Yeah. He's in the Giants VIP room. He's having certainly. I'm babysitting my friend's kid. So, I think maybe he is having a better week. That is funny. Should never be someone you'd want to trade places with. I'm an obese 50-something. My heart could go at any minute. That kid's in better shape than I am, probably. Yeah. I don't know. All right. I do have something else. Anybody got anything they want to jump in with? I can control the table if you want.
Rebecca, anything?
No, just I'm just thinking about all the Make-A-Wish kids that I've seen over the years. Not that you brought it up.
Yeah. They're all, I don't know, they're all tragic situations. That kid didn't seem all that tragic. It's not going well. We're in the mud. We're in the mud in a very dark subject.
Well, because we all have more to say and we just don't want to beat up on sick kids anymore.
Yeah, but is he sick? Like you said, he doesn't.
I know, that's what I'm saying. He's probably sick, and if he is, we're really saying some horrible things, and if he's not, then we're incredibly insightful, but I doubt it.
I don't know. Jeff
All
said
right.
he's in Vegas, but not old enough to get into a casino, bar, or strip club.
All right, so you want me to move it on to the next one?
Yeah, go ahead. You got
all
something?
right. So I was having a bit of
Turn
a
your mic down a little. Turn your gain down a little. You're a little hot. You're coming in hot.
Sure. Sorry about that. Okay, so I was I don't know if this is funny or sad or some combination of the two, but over here in Texas, state officials put out a press release or made a statement telling people to stop going down to Galveston and dipping your fruit in the water. I was like, what the hell's going on with that? People are dunking their fruit in the ocean. Yeah, Rihanna was pictured dipping mangoes in the water when she was in Barbados. Mm-hmm. And look, if you go to Barbados, the water is like clear and pristine, and when you're standing in the ocean, in the ocean waist deep, you can still see your feet. But when you go to Galveston, it looks like a sea of chocolate pudding. Basically, it is so nasty and gross, and all the runoff from the refineries and the chemical plants that are all around Galveston Bay are just leaking all their goodness. You dip your fruit in the ocean outside of Galveston, you're lucky if it doesn't start glowing. It's not the most pristine beach in America, but people were doing it and they were getting sick. There were a handful of people that went to the hospital because they saw Rihanna dip a mango in Barbados in the ocean. So they were doing that over here.
I saw that this afternoon or this morning when I was putting the high noon show together, and we're talking about the video of her. She's all pregnant in a bikini, right? Right? Where is it? The video that you
Yep.
saw? Yeah. So she's all pregnant. She's big and pregnant, glowing. I guess that's what we're supposed to say. And she dips something and she eats it, and now apparently that's a thing. And what is it? Is it the salt water? The salt?
It is. It's the
It is.
salt water, but it's still nasty, and there's still all
Yeah.
kinds of, like, that's where fish and all these other animals just doo doo. Like you're dipping it in a toilet.
Now, it's interesting that you have that take on Galveston because did you see this today? I pulled this up. Do you know that Galveston summer rentals are the third most profitable summer rentals in America? Did you see this? Look at
I
this.
would not have guessed that.
This was out today. Navarre Beach, Florida. If you own a summer rental property, the most profitable place to own a summer rental property in the United States is Navarre Beach, Florida. The second is New Buffalo, Michigan. The third, New Buffalo, Michigan, I told people because I spent a lot of summers in New Buffalo, Michigan. If you ever saw American Pie, remember Stifler's mom's beach house?
Yeah, where
Yeah,
they had the party, and that's American Pie too.
Yeah, okay, that's New Buffalo, Michigan. That place is beautiful. So Navarre Beach, Florida, for obvious reasons, it's Florida. New Buffalo, Michigan, it's because it's all like multi-million-dollar beach homes. Daytona Beach, Florida, obviously it's Florida. And then Galveston. Galveston is the fourth most profitable place in America to own summer rental property. How weird is that?
And that whole list is weird. Why wouldn't it be like a Malibu or a Nantucket or something like that?
The Hamptons.
Right. There you go. Hamptons.
Yeah. Well, it looks like number 6 is Rockaway Beach. I can barely read it. Hatteras Island, North Carolina is right after Galveston. I get that. That's where they have the wild ponies, the wild Mustangs that still live on the water there in Hatteras, North Carolina.
I do not know about that, and I'm not going to pretend like I know about that. They have wild ponies on.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. They've got a population of like ancient wild horses that still live on the beach in Hatteras, North Carolina, and they run in the water. If you've ever seen pictures of like the horses running in the water or whatever, that's Hatteras. That's that's there. That's in North Carolina. Yeah, the outer islands, and then there was like a big hurricane a couple of years ago, and they were worried about the wild horse population being knocked out. But yeah, that's a thing there. So I get that people go there for the beautiful wild horses, kind of a deal. And then but Galveston, number 4, never been, and I theorize that maybe it's pretty, and then you come in here and you tell me that it's like poop water.
It's opaque, number 1, which is something like once it's opaque, there should be no question on whether or not you dip your food in it. So that it's just weird to know that people would do that. But I don't want to knock Galveston. The beaches look nice. The water looks nasty, but Galveston is a super fun place because like a lot of these cool beach towns, they have like a little strip that you can hang out on that's like right near the beach. They have like a whole little cool old downtown area called the Strand. They have a bunch of great resorts that are just dotting the beach like every half mile or so.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Those are the wild horses on the beach in Cape Hatteras that live there.
Well, usually when you go to a beach, and it doesn't matter where it is, anywhere in the country, you basically see the same thing. That's got to be the only beach that I've ever seen that have wild horses on them.
Yeah, it says Outer Banks Wild Horse Tours. See the wild horses of Corolla on a 2-hour tour on the Outer Banks in North Carolina. Plan your trip to the Outer Banks, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, people love it. I know people have been there. Like, oh, it's beautiful. Oh, the horses, they just come up and they'll eat out of your hands and they run free. And then when a hurricane comes, everybody's worried about them getting wiped out. But look at it. It's like a herd. It's not just like 1 or 2 horses. It's like an entire population of wild horses that still just, live and roam free on the waters there. Look at that. Come on. Tell me that's not cool to see that. You're just laying out on the beach and suddenly that comes running by.
Definitely cool. Looks like free horses to me.
Very cool until the horse drops a deuce.
Well, I'm sure the tide comes in and takes it all away. There's no big problems.
And then someone comes and dips their fruit in the water.
Look at that guy. That guy's running look at him. He's like a thoroughbred. He's hauling ass.
This looks like a Budweiser commercial. Hey, I'm gonna try and close my browser and reopen it. It's driving me absolutely insane. Okay,
All right. It doesn't bother me. It's fine with me. But, you
hang
know,
on.
all right. James is going to. We don't have to stop the whole show for him. We can continue. How are you, Rebecca?
Good, Pugs. If people copy what their favorite celebrities, what they see them doing on video, they should have Rihanna and other celebrities like write checks to donate to charities on video. Maybe more people would do that instead of dipping
Yeah.
their fruit in the water.
That I don't. I mean, look, I think so. I hate oceans. I hate them. I'm a Great Lakes kid. I grew up in the Great Lakes, freshwater. You know, it's every time I've been in an ocean, I've gotten a sore throat because I've swallowed the water. You know, I just it's not a problem with Great Lakes water. You know, you can swallow it; and it's not a bad thing. But when every time I've been in an ocean, I'm reminded that oh my god, this is like the worst water ever. So I wouldn't dip any food in ocean water anyway. I wouldn't dip it in any water. That's pretty gross. But I do like salt on my fruit. So I do understand maybe a native tradition, you know, that dates back. Oh, would you look at this? He's back. Look at him.
Hey, look who it is.
James, we're talking about the fruit dipping in the water. Do you think that's like some like ancient native tradition? You know, because I put salt on my fruit. I've put salt.
Hell
on
no. Hell
You
no.
don't think natives did that? I think they probably did because salt on fruit tastes good. It makes fruit taste delicious. And specifically, like mango and bananas with a little salt is delicious.
Okay, but seawater is pretty rough stuff. It's not entirely edible, and just because you can swallow some in your mouth and not get sick, you swallow some in your mouth enough, you're going to get the trots at least, if not outright some sort of parasite or bug or whatever. That is not fit for consumption. You It makes people sick. I'm not surprised it made a lot of people sick, especially if you're not used to it. And it's just kind of gross. It's like finding a mud puddle and saying, "Hey, let's dip my fruit in this stagnant water that's been sitting out from the last rainfall."
Yeah, I mean, I just said every time I hate oceans. I hate ocean water. I don't like going in the ocean. I've been to the Atlantic. I've been to the Pacific. I've never been down to the Gulf. No, never had that experience.
Oh,
But
it's fun, but not because the water. It's just a fun place to party.
I'm
Parker, the Cowboys drafted an offensive lineman out of Tulsa named
Thank
Tyler
God.
Smith.
Thank God. Good.
Is that what you
'Cause they
wanted?
Well, they need that. And I am of the belief that in the first round, especially in like the first half of the first round, but the whole first round period, these skill position players are not nearly as likely to work out as a big, thick lineman. Defensive or offensive linemen are a lot more likely. If you're going to spend that very important draft pick, if you
There's a
go for like a quarterback or receiver or running back, you're going to overpay for, mathematically speaking, versus the likelihood of him working out and actually staying and making that money back. The guy that you get in the second and third round is just as likely for a quarterback or something like that to make it, and you only have to pay like 1/3 the price.
See now that I agree with what you said, but when you're talking about first round picks, whether they're skill position players or linemen, you know, boring ass in the trenches offensive linemen, the bust ratio is pretty even. It really is. It's the simple fact is that you're more high profile when you're a skill position player and you bust out than when you're an offensive guard who was taken 6th overall and then didn't turn into anything.
Right,
And that
but
happens all the
because of that, that makes it a better investment to go for the cheaper guy, which is always going to be the lineman.
unless
So
it's a left tackle. Left tackles are now the second highest paid offensive players in football. Left tackles
Oh,
premium position.
good
Only
for
left
them.
tackles though, because they're
Good for
protecting the
them.
line side. Quarterbacks are number one. High priced left tackles are number two.
Excellent. Well, I've just seen some convincing rundowns of one of the reasons why the Cleveland Browns and Cincinnati Bengals and Detroit Lions get at the bottom and they stay on the bottom. It's because they're always getting these great picks. They're having to pay a ton more money than these other guys later down in the draft that are just as likely to boom or bust. And so mathematically speaking, you're just rolling bigger dice. You have bigger bets on the roulette table, and it kills these people because once you sign that bad contract, even if you try and get out of it, you're going to take the cap hit for years to come, and then you're going to have to do that next year where you don't have a whole lot of cap left, but you still have to throw a whole bunch of money because you got like one of the top 3 picks in the draft, and so it's a downward spiral to where unless you hit on it a couple times, like a la Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. These are things that can tank a franchise for a decade.
Bad
And
first
those organizations you mentioned, they're just bad organizations from top to bottom. Whether it's the Lions or the Browns or the Bengals. The Bengals did turn it around last year. But there are just some organizations that they basically have been bad forever.
I was reading an article today. Now, I said this on the High Noon Show when we were talking about the draft. I said, I'm not, look, my team, my Bears don't have a first round pick. And it doesn't really bother me because the first round of the NFL draft, it all comes down to scouting. And I think that scouting in both football and in baseball is just nonsense. I think that it's all just bought about hype. It's about who, what scouts get taken out to the best steak dinner by the best boosters when they're looking at college players. It's all about who gets on ESPN the most. It's all about who plays in a higher profile conference. It's all hype. You can get Hall of Famers. Tom Brady was what, a seventh round, sixth round quarterback that nobody wanted. All of the brilliant scouts looked at Tom Brady and went, he's not going to be anything. Well, he's the greatest quarterback of all time. So, I mean, in Jamarcus Russell, LSU Jamarcus Russell, he was the number 1 overall pick. He's an absolute bag of dick. That guy completely sucked, and yet he was the consensus number 1 that couldn't miss in the NFL. So first round, it's fun when your team lands a big, hyped guy that everybody's excited about, but it doesn't mean that it's no more of a guarantee that he's going to be great than the guy you took in the 3rd or the 4th round. You can get Hall of Famers in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round. The article that I was reading today was from Chicago, and it talked about the greatest second round players in Chicago Bear history, because we only have a second round pick. Every one of them is in the Hall of Fame. Every one of the second round players that we got are in the Hall of Fame. And that followed up on the biggest first round busts of all time in my Chicago Bear team history. And they were all players I don't remember. I'm like, what? Really? Cade McNown, that guy quarterback for our team for 6 games in 1999, and nobody ever heard from him again. So I think the first round is all about hype. But again, I will concede it is fun when you get the number 1 overall pick, because theoretically you've got the pick of the litter, right? I mean, you can but it also amplifies how stupid you're going to look when, that guy doesn't end up being anything and you've blown a number 1 pick. I mean, there was an argument that I was listening to the other day on ESPN. They were talking about in certain years, and this could be one of those years because it's a really deep draft this year at certain positions, but there are no number 1 consensus overalls. They were arguing that for some teams, they should take their first round pick and trade it to a team that has no first round pick and see if they can get like 3 2s and a 3 and a 4.
Yeah. That's a smart play.
Yeah. Cause it's like, there is no real guaranteed top 10 stuff. I mean, there's a couple guys that look really good, but they're all off the board. But as far as like, if you were picking 15, and you could get another team has 2, like the Bears have 2 2s and 2 3s. If the Bears are stupid enough to trade 2 2s and 2 3s for a number 115, that team with the number 115 should take that, because this draft is so deep that you're going to be able to get starters all the way into the 3rd and 4th round.
The 30 for 30 on ESPN, they're all fantastic. I've never seen a bad one. And you don't even have to be a sports fan to enjoy how good they are.
No, you do. I've tried to make my wife watch them. She doesn't care.
Well, yeah, maybe you have to be. I don't know.
I've tested that theory though, but I agree, Rebecca, in all other aspects.
One of the 30 for 30s was, I think it was called the Brady 8 or something. It was like the 8 quarterbacks drafted ahead of Tom Brady.
Yeah.
What happened with them? Dak Prescott. There were 7 quarterbacks drafted ahead of Dak Prescott, and not one of them is with the team that drafted them.
Oh, yeah.
So, look, the NFL draft, it's It's hit or miss. There's a way to do it, and it's fun to watch if there's nothing else on. If there's not a 30 for 30 on.
Dak Prescott is an interesting case in that I watch a lot of college football. I'm a sports fan, and I had never heard of Dak Prescott until he started balling out with the Cowboys. I'm like,
most people have never heard of most players on Mississippi State University.
Tony Romo was an undrafted free agent out of Eastern Illinois University. And, he became a starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys for what? Better part of a decade? I mean, the scouts are full of nonsense. Do you know the Tony Romo story, James? Did you ever hear this? Do you know why he got invited to camp by the Cowboys?
Because Sean Payton went to East Illinois and someone was breaking all his records.
Yes. Yeah. Sean Payton at the time was on Bill Parcells' staff. Sean Payton was the offensive coordinator before he went to the Saints. And Sean Payton is a legend at Eastern Illinois University. And there was this kid named Tony Romo who was breaking all of Sean Payton's records. And when it came time to invite, free agents to camp, he went, I'm going to invite this kid that broke all my records. And that was Tony Romo. So Sean Payton discovered Tony Romo. He wouldn't have had to, because he wouldn't have gotten a shot anywhere else. He was Eastern Illinois University. He was undrafted. He was considered small and didn't play against the level of competition that they were looking for. So, yeah, scouts don't know shit about shit. That's my take. Okay, we got anything else? Let's see here.
And Tony Romo these days is just about as good an NFL analyst as he was quarterback.
He's now making more money per year than he did in his final season.
Yeah, he's terrific. He's really good. CBS is paying him a mint. He is really good. He's a really likable guy. And it probably comes from the fact that Tony Romo was never the blue chip consensus top pick quarterback. I mean, he always had to sort of be the kid waiting around to get his chance. And then when he got his chance, he took advantage of it. Tony Romo was never the superhero, treated like, he was special or a god or anything. He basically earned everything that he had to achieve there in the NFL. And I think that's a big part of his personality. I think that's why he's likable, because he's not
kind of hard to be full of yourself, right? When he played, because we were in Dallas doing the show when he first got in the league, and he played in the preseason and kicked butt. And then we didn't see him for the rest of the season. Like, he didn't even get any cleanup trash duty because he was the third or fourth quarterback. And then the next preseason, he comes in, he gets to play a little bit. He's throwing bombs. He's killing it. He's striking it. And then we don't see him again in the regular season. Not for one snap. Not for like when we're ahead and it's trash time and the backup had tweaked his ankle. So the third string guy's just going to go take some knees or whatever. We didn't see him until like his fourth season in the league. And then all of a sudden he had to start because who was it? Vinny Testaverde or something got hurt?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bitch fit. It was Parcells threw a bitch fit on Monday Night Football against the Giants and just threw all the chips in and said, let the kid nobody knows play. Like, basically Parcells was giving up.
I believe there was an injury involved, though, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, and I don't know if it was Vinny Testaverde or if it was Drew Bledsoe. Maybe it was Drew. I think it was Drew Bledsoe.
I thought maybe it was Testaverde. And here in chat, Brady said, and still, I mean, as good as Tony Romo was, he only has one or two more playoff wins than Quincy Carter. Remember that bust when the Dallas Cowboys drafted that guy?
Yeah.
Quincy.
Jerry Jones loved him. I love this kid. He's got a future. He's got the same birthday as me. Yeah.
That was it.
That's a weird flex. You and the cokehead have the same birthday. Great.
We used to well, I don't know about to say we, but I hung out with Tony Romo all the time before he was Tony Romo. He used to hang out with Tyson and Kurt Bowlers, who were two of his offensive linemen. Whenever we'd go out drinking, it would always be, the fourth string quarterback's here. And he'd just be sitting at the table with us hanging out. He was a nice guy.
And we were more excited to see the other guys. We're like, hey, it's KV. Hey, it's me, KV.
Yeah.
Not here right now. If you could leave a message after beep.
And I remember the first time I met him, we were sitting there and we were bonding over the fact that he went to Eastern, and I partied at Eastern all the time because Eastern, I'm from Illinois, Eastern Illinois. A bunch of my friends went there, and it was like Drew Bledsoe. It was Tony Romo replaced Drew Bledsoe. The Cowboys made a bad decision letting Drew Bledsoe go as a free agent. Okay, this is somebody's opinion. Well, somebody's opinion.
They really regret that, don't they? Because Drew Henson went on to light it up.
No, Drew Bledsoe, not Drew Henson.
Drew Bledsoe.
Drew Henson was the other Drew that they brought in as like a third string quarterback from the Cowboys. Drew Henson, the double threat out of Michigan.
Because it was Vinny Testaverde, then Drew Henson, and then Tony Romo.
No, it was Vinny Testaverde, then Drew Bledsoe.
Then Drew Henson?
Then Tony Romo. Drew Henson never started. Drew Henson was always like
but he was on the chart in front of Romo because he was in one of the songs that I did back in the day.
Not Drew Henson. Mm-hmm. No. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Drew Henson was a very highly thought of dual threat to professional sports because he was drafted by the Yankees in baseball. And then he was also drafted by the Cowboys, and he never did anything in either. So, it never really worked out for old Drew Henson. But
he's a double failure, says the guy doing radio for free in his bedroom.
All right, so right. Huge failure.
What a loser.
He made more in like one season with the Cowboys than you and I have made combined probably in our careers. And we're sitting here calling him a loser. Mm-hmm. All right, I got something I want to get into before we got to get out. Because
sure.
So Netflix has a new series on John Wayne Gacy, the John Wayne Gacy tapes or phone calls or whatever. Have you guys seen this? Rebecca, have you seen this yet on Netflix?
I haven't seen it. I've heard about it, but
all right. So I'm fascinated by John Wayne Gacy because, as I always said, when I was a little kid growing up, John Wayne Gacy did all these things in a town just a couple of towns over from where I was. He was our boogeyman on the playground. It was John Wayne Gacy going to come and get you. I mean, he was the boogeyman of the area. So I watched this thing on Netflix and I loved it. But, I also, James, did you know that as one of my first radio jobs ever, I covered the Gacy execution at Stateville. I was sent out there for the Gacy execution. It's one of my proudest moments. Covered it live on the radio.
Fun gig.
It was. It was very exciting. It was very exciting. Thousands of people, everybody cheering. It was a giant tailgate party. There were thousands of people just drinking and partying. And
what was it? Was it Lethal Injection?
It was Lethal Injection, yeah.
Okay.
So I've always been obsessed with Gacy. I mean, even when I was in high school, I remember reading the book Buried Dreams, which was all about the whole thing. So I'm very excited when Netflix posted this brand new docuseries about the John Wayne Gacy murder case. It's very interesting. If you like that kind of stuff, it's fascinating. It's dark, it's spooky, and it's very good. But so John Wayne Gacy. So before he came to the Chicago area and started murdering kids and burying them in his basement, he lived in Waterloo, Iowa. Okay. He married a woman named Marlon, and Marlon's father owned a whole bunch of Kentucky Fried Chicken restaurants. And John Wayne Gacy was made like a manager of like this whole slew of Waterloo, Iowa, Kentucky Fried Chicken restaurants. And this is in 1964. Okay, he's 22 years old, and in 1964, he is making the equivalent in 2022 dollars of $150,000 a year. Okay, 22 years old. He married up. He married a woman who had a husband that gave him a job. But listen to this. Listen to what they were getting into. Okay, so this is in the 1960s in Waterloo, Iowa. John Wayne Gacy was a member of the JCs. You know, the JCs are the local JCs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And he rose up the ranks within the JCs. And he built a club in the basement of his Waterloo, Iowa home. Bar, pool table, darts, all that kind of stuff. John Wayne Gacy was popular, guys. I don't know if you know this, but everybody loved to hang out with John. John was funny. John was a nice guy, a wonderful guy. So John Wayne Gacy would have all these parties with all the other JCs. Do you know that in 1960, I believe it was 1962, in 1964, John Wayne Gacy in Waterloo, Iowa, okay, headed up a amateur porn-making, wife-swapping prostitution ring among the JCs. All of these local Waterloo, Iowa business people who, went to church every week and they ran the local business and they supported the local Little League. On the weekends, they were hanging out with John Gacy, making amateur porn with their wives. He had all the cameras and all that kind of stuff. He always got the best stag flick, so he became that. But also, there was like a massive wife swapping group in 1964. This isn't 1966 swing in London. This is Waterloo, Iowa. And I'm learning all of this stuff, and I'm thinking, man, when I think of like my grandma and grandpa, don't we all have the impression that like, our grandparents just basically had sex with each other? Like, we don't really think that there was any real sexual adventurism before.
Not only that, I didn't think John Wayne Gacy liked women.
We didn't. That's why he was always farming his wife out. that's probably why he was.
Yeah, you smasher.
Yes, that was exactly kind of the thing. All right, so I'm watching this the John Wayne Gacy thing, and I was talking with a friend of mine who was also grew up with me, and we both are big into the whole John Wayne Gacy story. He actually went with me to the execution. A whole bunch of my buddies went with me to the execution. I was doing the live call-ins, and we had a bunch of beer in our trunk, and it was fun. It was good. So he said something to me. He said, "Hey, have you listened to Another Kid in the Crawl lately?" And I'm like, "No." Now, when we were little, Another Kid in the Crawl was a parody song that was really popular on the radio in Chicago. A guy named Steve Dahl, when he was a young shock jock, he made this song. And I'm like, no, I haven't listened to it. So I ended up listening to it this afternoon. And okay, so we've got a group of people here who know radio and know radio standards and know all of that kind of stuff. Can I play this John Wayne Gacy parody song for you? And will you tell me, could you in any way, shape, or form play this in 2022 on the radio? I mean, it is one of, on YouTube, it's labeled as meanest parody song ever written. And when you listen to, you understand 33 kids were murdered by, the only thing I can think of is it would be like if somebody tried to make a wacky song about Sandy Hook. It's like.
Right. Okay.
All right. So you want to give this a listen? Tell me if we could actually, here, we'll just pull it up like this. This is how we'll go out. We were awful people in 1979. Because that's when this song would have come out. And we knew all the words to this song. We used to sing it, in the schoolyard. It was quite a thing. So I want you two radio professionals who have worked in the business, I want you to tell me if you think there's any way in hell this song could be played today, okay? All right, here we go. Let's give it a listen.
He was afraid of male castration in that his father played a role. A birthday clown who did construction. He liked to dig just like a mole. Hey, Daisy, leave those kids alone. All in all, it's just another kid in a crawl. All in all, it's just another kid in a crawl. We don't need no excavation.
It's in such bad taste, but it's so
Just
well
leave
done.
us in this basement hole. It's too late for resuscitation. In a million years we'll turn to coal. Hey, Gacy, leave those kids alone. All in all, it's just another kid in a crawl. All in all, it's just another kid in the crowd.
Yeah, I can see if you had a relative or a friend killed by John Wayne Gacy, how you might not appreciate that song.
And it also needs to be noted, this was a song being played on the radio in the community where all of these children, and they're not children. They're youngest was 15, average age was like 18, 19, whatever. So young adult men, but in the same community, and the community ate it up, loved this, made him an absolute icon in the city. This was what launched him into. I mean, he's in the Radio Hall of Fame, and I just hold on. Here we go. We're gonna pick it back up. By the way, his band was fantastic. This is a real band. This isn't just him singing over
A karaoke track.
No, this
Yeah.
is his real band, Teenage Radiation. They're really good musicians.
Well, that's who Howard Stern loved. Steve
Yeah.
Dahl.
It's who Howard replaced in Detroit when they told Howard, we need you to be really over the line because you're replacing this guy. All right, here we go.
If you don't play the Saturday, you gotta go to the jail. You gotta go to the jail if you don't play the Saturday. What? Is anybody down
Mr. Gacy, it's dark down here. Oh, God. All right. So we are far enough away from that. Oh, where is it?
1979.
Okay. Okay, so would any of us have the nerve to write a song like that about a modern, or have the times just changed so much? Or did people back then just not know how offensive that was? I mean, could you imagine the woke mob coming for you with a song?
I don't
like
think
that?
there was such a thing as the cancel culture back in the late 70s.
Yeah, no, well, there's certainly
No,
no
there
way.
wasn't. If Blazing Saddles can make it, anybody can make it.
Yeah.
Well, don't ask me because you're talking to the artist that brought you Lesbian Christmas, and also all I want for Christmas is that bitch. That's one of, and that's just what I did with Pugs back in the day. I did a lot of dumb stuff.
Emily says this might be my creeper manifesting itself, but this is tame, she says. It's tame. 33 dead kids in the community and somebody making a lighthearted joke about the whole situation. I mean, look, at the time I loved it. At the time but at the time I was 9-10 years old, So
Didn't I just make a Brian Laundrie song last year?
yes, but we're not in the community, and it wasn't like you didn't have a million listeners throughout the Midwest to boot. It was just, it's not the same thing. Wonderful song though. I mean, just from I've written parody songs. I thought the lyrics were great. I thought that they, it was a popular song. The Wall was very popular at the time, so he was playing off a very popular contemporary song. The musicianship is great.
That'd be like living here in New Orleans and writing a funny song about Hurricane Katrina right after the storm. I think a couple thousand people died. Yeah,
something. All right. Anyway, I can highly recommend. Look, he's a hero of mine. I love him. He's I think he's an absolute radio genius. But
does he like you?
Yeah, now he does. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
We worked for a while, but we buried the hatchet when I went back to Chicago. I reached out and said, "Look, I'm going to be around. Are we okay?" He was like, "Yeah, man, we're fine." And then he even came to one of my shows. I did a show in Grant Park with Kevin Matthews. He was being honored for something, and I hosted it. And so, yeah, very, very, we're fine. We're fine. It was good. It's a big relief to me because, you don't like it when your heroes end up being your enemy, right? That's not a good thing. That's not a good
It's not
deal.
part of the plan. Yeah.
No, not part of the plan at all. All right, Rebecca, thank you so much for joining us again today. I got to get back to the kid that I'm babysitting, so we're gonna
Thanks for having me, guys.
invite it back anytime. And James, thank you so. James is going to disappear.
Well, I'm sorry about the technical troubles, but I got it all.
See what he does? Do you see what he does? Do you see how he does that? He does it to me every time. All right. We'll say goodbye to Rebecca too. Bye, Rebecca. Welcome back anytime. Anytime you're free, please feel free to let James know. We'll jump right back in with you. There she goes. Lovely and talented Rebecca. All right, folks. Thank you so much. We're going to end the show today. You know what? You know what I was thinking? I could probably end the show with... why not? I'm already not going to be able to monetize this. Why not go out with another one of his parody songs? Another one of his. Hold on. Why not? I saw it here. Let's see here. There you go. All right. So he didn't just do that as a parody song. He followed it up with another parody song that was contemporary to the time. So we'll go out with this. Tip the show if you can. Help us out. We're at the end of the month. So anything you can do to help the show continue on. I mean, we're going to continue on anyway, but it's going to be a great help. You can do that by dropping a couple of bucks in any of those links that you see there. All right, here you go. This was the follow-up to Another Kid in the Crawl, another very popular local parody song from the rock and roll, the Radio Hall of Famer, Steve Dahl, the guy who Howard Stern ripped off. This was, we'll go out with this.
Ooh, you got a real nice beard, you know it really caught on my eye, Ayatollah, but you know your mind is weird, you really are another
Bye, everybody.
Guy, Ayatollah. Come on, give us back all the people at the embassy. The Shah's hanging out and he's taking chemotherapy. He's already gonna die, Ayatollah. Ayatollah, when you get the Shah back home, we know you're gonna eat him on Ayatollah, but we kinda need your oil to make our gas. You know you're such a pain in the Ayatollah. Come on, cool your jets, meditate, eat a hamburger. Don't get us too upset or we'll do something nuclear. Bye, Ayatollah. 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 Iran. Ayatollah, Americans are mostly cool, but now we're really starting to fry, Ayatollah. And you know, if you were here, we'd hit you in the face with a pie, Ayatollah. I mean, nothing personal, man, you know. I mean, I do like your sandals. Very sharp, dude. And that robe? Yes. You desert dudes are also tanned. Can I see your tan lines? Oh, and one other thing. Mike Wallace, you know, on 60 Minutes when you did the thing, is he as tall in real life as he looks on TV? I thought not. Hey, hasta Luigi, dude, sickle, but remember, calm down. There's more of us than there are of you. Ciao.